Hello, welcome back to I Found a Fox. It's been a while. Um, let me count the ways. I just realized I've got my top on inside out. Can you see, see the seams? I'm just between coaching clients, and I had a coaching client this morning, and then I've got another one this afternoon. And I thought I'd just have a quick word here. I was going to do some writing today, but I'm one of those people that when I write, when I do creative writing, I actually it's like my brain is a petrol pump, literally, and I plug all my creativity into what I'm writing, and it sucks all the energy out of my brain, and I'm literally whoa, whoa, whoa. By the end of a session, I'm really find it hard to string sentences together and to think in any sort of critical or creative way after that. So it's not wise for me to do too much creative writing before I have a coaching client, because they deserve all my energy and attention. So I'm holding back from doing some writing, even though today would be a great day to write. You can't actually see out the window. It looks kind of like it's sunny, but trust me, it is pissing rain, and it's been really, really foggy. We've had our winter started, midway through autumn, and it hasn't let up. So there's flood warnings and all sorts of things going on today. These glasses aren't as bad as those other ones, are they? But they're still reflective. Anyway, I apologise for that. So I'm not in the witchy cottage because I would be just so cold down there. And I've had to pack away the matches and the tarot cards, into sort of, I've got some old beauty cases out there that I store candles and incense and matches and things, and I'm putting my tarot cards in them as well, because leaving them out, they get damp. Like, even though it doesn't leak, it's just the cold air, and the cardboard in the cards sort of goes soft, and so that's not good, is it? So that's happening. Now, I just wanted to share with you a couple of things that are on my mind. So I see Owlvine's back a little bit, which I'm just loving. So I've just caught up yesterday afternoon on 3 of her latest videos. She's sort of vlogging again, which I just adore. And she's absolutely right. People want to see, they want to see real lives, and they want to see what people do and what they get up to. I've talked about this before, about how, modern life has separated us from each other's homes. So, when we were kids in the 60s and the 70s, we were kind of in and out of everybody's houses, all right? There's just like this flow of activity, and you're always in and out of everybody's houses. Now, I was brought up in the country, but even my husband, who was brought up like right in the heart of Melbourne, said it was the same. He knew everybody in his street. He knew all the shopkeepers, and all the ladies in the street were his aunt. This kind of thing. So, but then over time we've become more and more separated from each other, and we tend to live in our own little bubbles. And what happens is that we don't see inside each other's lives. We only see inside lives via television and film, which is highly curated, of course. And then Instagram, Owlvine was talking about Instagram and the obsession with the aesthetic of everything being perfect, and how tedious that can be, which is true. So yeah, I think this is why lifestyle blogs and YouTube videos that kind of just show, where you are and your setting and stuff like that are really intriguing to us, because humans love to see what other humans are doing. It's like that Peter Carey short story, where, the guy was sort of like a giant, and he could lift the roofs off people's houses and look in and watch them going about their daily lives. And I love that. And I love to walk in the evenings, just on dusk, when people are starting to turn their lights on in their houses but not draw their curtains. And it's not a creepy thing. I just love seeing people going about their lives in the most ordinary of ways. I find it fascinating. see them lit up in their little houses, see them moving about, cooking a meal perhaps, or whatever it is they're doing, just being in their space without being aware that they're being watched. It's just something really charming about it and really comforting about humans in their spaces. So anyway, I'm really rambling, aren't I? But I just think that's the magic. That's another kind of way of it's an enchanting way of spending your time, or looking at life, actually, to see it as everyday life as being enchanting. And I think that's why, coming back to Owlvine's talking about vlogging, why apart from the fact that I really like Owlvine and I really admire her knowledge, I also just love being in her home, and hanging out and with all of you. Now, it's the same. Madwitch cut her hair. And I just love that she cut her hair. It looks great, but it's not about that. It's about that she just did it, right? And I think that's really awesome. I also had my hair cut too, which was really fun too. So, and I was talking to someone today who had just coloured their hair really bright red, and just loving it and feeling really empowered by it. And I was saying how, I feel that there is a bit of a danger with the celebration of the grey-haired woman. There's a danger to get too militant about that. All right. And I just want to say to anyone out there, if you want to colour your hair, go right ahead. Like, seriously. If you want to colour it, if you want to go grey, if you want to cut it short, if you want to have it to wild, if you want to stop washing it like I did with mine 5 years ago, whatever it is you want to do with your fucking hair, I don't care. And that's the place that we all need to get to, I think. It's just not policing each other's bodies and how we look and what we do. If you want to stick Botox in your forehead, stick Botox in your. I'm not gonna sit in judgment of anyone. You want to have, you live in a culture that likes do that thing. I mean, who doesn't do that to their face now and then when they're past 50 or 40 or 60 in my case? Like, we all do it. We all want to see what we'd look like if we were taut and trim again. And if you want to take steps and change it, just do it. Like, seriously, I just don't think there's any value in policing women and saying that, women who are truly authentic and in their power don't do this, this, and this, that's just the same policing with a different face. And it happens in the witchy world, in order to be genuinely witchy, you need to be natural and, do these things to your hair and have all these things going on and these outward expressions of it to sort of prove how witchy you are. And I know you know that it's just all bullshit, isn't it? So that's what I wanted to say about that. And the other thing I just wanted to share with you, this weird little thing that you might find interesting. The other night, well, it was a few weeks ago now, in the middle of the night, I woke up. This is one of my many talkie-docky books that I have beside my bed. And mostly when I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas and things to write about, it's usually absolute twaddle. Like, I feel like it's a stroke of genius at the time. And then when I read back in the morning, I just realize it's rubbish. But this time I wrote something that quite impressed me. And I thought you might enjoy hearing it too. So I'm going to read it back to you. So it was about, as you know, I work with Hekate, and I just am deeply in love with Hekate, and but sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not witchy enough, I don't know enough, or blah, 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 all the things, right? But this came through in the middle of the night. There are energetic currents or archetypes flowing through the cosmos that, when we tap into them, call us to change. They lead us into the present or alert us to opportunities and new, richer ways of being and expressing ourselves. And these energies express differently through people with different personalities and gifts. Just as music expresses itself differently through Mozart and Sid Vicious, or Streisand and Patti Smith, so an energy such as Hekate expresses differently through different devotees. So that one who taps into Hecate's energy might feel inspired to write devotional poetry and dress like a goth and perform storm magic and scry with dark mirrors. Another who taps into Hecate's energy might be called to inspire, support, guide other women towards their full expression, the full expression of themselves, both creatively and professionally. So I'm talking about me here, aren't I? To be leaders themselves and to be guides and thought beacons, rebels, iconoclasts, artists, writers, entrepreneurs. It all depends on the unique being who's tapping into her energy and willingly or humbly or eagerly accepts her key or her offering. So that's what I scribbled down in the middle of the night, and it really helped me when I read back through it the next day, because it was a real aha moment for me about, and it comes back to this whole thing about boxing ourselves in and dictating to one another about what our relationships with deity and what our relationship with witchcraft should look like, how it should play out, the rules, the things that we should be doing and the things that we shouldn't be doing, what's authentic and what's not authentic. The only thing that is authentic is you and what you bring to your relationship with whatever deity calls to you or whatever deity you choose. All right. Again, it's also not about waiting to be called. It's not about waiting for this big message to come from on high with my inside out top. It's not about that. It's about who you feel called to and the way that you want to communicate with that deity. And at the end of the day, you can only bring yourself. You can pretend to be all these other things and you can try to tick all these boxes, but that's tedious, and that just puts us back into, a patriarchal way of thinking and a highly, highly dogmatic way of living. And, by being a witch, we're trying to get away from that. I was thinking about it the other day, like, why do I insist on calling myself a witch? It's because it's empowering. It's on a lot of levels, it's a political statement, but it's also really empowering. And I did toy with the idea, I did some studies around the path of the priestess, and I looked into that and did some readings and did some courses and stuff. But I realized that for me, the priestess path wasn't where it's at. It's the witch. That's what resonates for me. That's where the power is for me. And again, that's what I would love for people who come to I Found a Fox and who talk to me about these sort of spiritual things. That's where I'd like everyone to get to, where they feel that they are making a choice based on what their soul wants, what their calling is, what their heart is drawn to, not by what's fashionable or what's being dictated to them or what they think they should do, but deeply, deeply from inside. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. All right, I'm going to rack off now and get on with my day. But it is lovely to be back and to say hi. And I know you know this, but when I disappear for months at a time, it's only because I'm busy and I'm working and I'm deeply, deeply in my muggle life. It's not because I'm not thinking of you guys, and it's not because I don't care anymore. And sometimes I just have to wait until I have, a lovely window of opportunity where I can start to binge and check back in with what everybody's putting out there, because I do dearly love this community and I love catching up with you all and seeing what you've all been doing. So loads and loads of love from me here in wintry, wet, rural Australia. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.